afternoon and welcome back to By Any Greens Necessary. I'm your host, Melvin Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of the Endeleo Institute. We are the health, education, and community development arm of Trinity United Church of Christ, located on the beautiful far south side of Chicago in Washington Heights at 400 West 95th Street. Our farmers market, which we are here to talk about today at length, is located across the street. Open every Saturday morning this summer from 8 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. We're at the corner of 95th and Normal. We feature black farmers from Pembroke, Illinois, and I am thrilled to have one next to me right now, and we're going to talk to him in just a second. But just I always do a quick recap of what happened last week, and we had another outstanding market. A lot more vendors are starting to come out and starting to contact us. So if you'd like to contact us, feel free. We still have a little room left. 773-966 1588. You can call us and just go through the process. We still have a little bit of time. I was told that we still have room for maybe a vendor or two, but we did wonderful last week. We had a robust crowd. Weather was absolutely perfect. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God, it was just
perfect.
And we're getting the rain during the week, and then we get sunny and bright on Saturday. So that's thank you Jesus for that. And I got a call. I got to tell you, Donnie, I got a call, and then we'll get right into you. But I got a call this week. Apparently, there's a high school principal at Holy Angels, who was in attendance at a Sunday service a couple of weeks ago, and he heard Pastor Moss talking about the farmers market and the opening and how you got to get there early and how we have these black farmers and we're doing all this work, and it's just wonderful. And so this brother, and I'm going to call his name out, Sean Stallings is the principal, called me and said, "Hey, Melvin, I have some second graders through eighth graders who have cultivated an urban garden on the campus of their school, and they've grown collard greens and squash. And would it be possible to bring that to the market on Saturday?" And I told him, "Absolutely not. No way. No way. No, of course I didn't tell him that. I told him, please. So this Saturday, some students from Holy Angels will be in attendance, and they will have a booth with their logo and everything at a table, and they'll be selling collard greens. Second grade to eighth grade. So this is exactly what we were looking for, and that's why introducing my guest to my right is incredibly important to the whole process. His name is Donnie Moore. He is the owner and a farmer. He's kind of modest about calling him a farmer because he's a young millennial in the game, but nonetheless, he runs an organization called Simple Cycle Chicago. Did I get this?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And we were working on that in the green room, and I couldn't get those three little words together. But he runs Simple Cycle Chicago in Chicago, and I didn't see that you brought any of that ginger.
I'll have some, though, for you.
All right. I'll let you go this time. But welcome, brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Man, tell us how in the world a young African-American millennial is the coin, a phrase. How did you migrate into urban agriculture? Please tell us, and welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yep.
But I got into this because I still do. I first started to learn how to do aquaponic systems,
okay,
which is many people, if you're into green technology and some of these things, you might have heard about it, but it's a system where there's fish, like in a fish tank, and the life processes of the fish, their waste and whatnot, goes to feeding the plants. So I was building those systems, and I wound up working with a community center in Roseland.
Okay.
From there, I always say God works in mysterious ways. I wound up going to a farm program that they had in Pembroke, Illinois, where the black farmers are at.
Sure.
And I, because I was a young guy there, I had a lot of energy. They didn't charge me anything for the class, but from being there and seeing so many, I never knew that there was black farmers in Illinois. I didn't know Hopkins Park existed. And the
Wow.
history of Hopkins Park is nothing short than incredible. But once I had found out about this community and these people that had farms and the legacy of farming, there was kind of a problem where a lot of the farmers were older in their older in their age and weren't able to
Kind of
to
sustain it and keep it going.
Keep it going. So me showing up, I just went from farm to farm, helping out, doing just doing whatever I could, and through that, people would allow me to use small plots of land so I could kind of practice my craft, and over the years I've gotten pretty good at it.
And you in the green room you refer to yourself as not being a farmer but more of a
sharecropper.
sharecropper,
Yes, sir.
and that's
Yes,
that's a term of endearment, right?
Yes, I mean I kind of view it differently than the historical context of it, where we're sharing.
Wow.
It's people share with me, and then I'm able to share my services with them, which also allows us to share fresh produce and knowledge information with the community. So I'm a sharecropper. Soon, I will, God willing, own hopefully a good, nice chunk of land. But right now, I just rent land, and that's how I'm able to come to the market.
And what's incredible about that is because we're in this what they call the sharing economy, right? Where we're becoming more community focused. We're sharing our housing, we're sharing our food, we're sharing so much, and we're sharing our cars, the way we get back and forth. Uber, my kids are Uber crazy, and it's just an amazing phenomenon. So it actually cultivates or recalibrates that term, and that this is food related, and so it's just great to see and refreshing to see that you were embraced by our elders.
I really was.
Man, that's amazing, and that you work even at our market right alongside them, and they know you, and it's just amazing. You have to come and see this happening. This is a live call-in show. If you have any questions about what you've heard thus far or anything, you can call us at 312-738-1060. That's 312-738-1060. So tell me, Donnie, we had a couple of bullet points that we definitely want to talk about. Tell me your recollection and your history of black farmers, and how you kind of infuse history into what you're doing today.
Well, the history of it is, black farmers, we used to own, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was millions of acres the black farmers did. And this is, I am a millennial, I'm a younger guy, and, it's the history of black farmers being able to produce for the black community is one where, like, I said earlier, we had millions of acres of land, which we've lost more and more over the years. Sold. USDA has played if you ask some of the black farmers, played a big role.
We talked about that. We talked about that last season about the irony. We have a USDA grant, as you know, to support Trinity's Farmers Market last season and this season,
which is great.
Which is great, but the history is a whole nother story, right?
There was during Barack Obama's presidency. I think there was actually a lawsuit where a lot of the black farmers did get a settlement. I don't know too much of the details about that, but for me, the reason why I began to farm and the reason why I've built Simple Cycle into a company that's able to market and manage some of these farms and lands that a lot of the older black farmers have is because we want to be able to keep that going. Without farmers, you're not able to produce the raw materials in terms of food materials and other kinds of materials that you need to support a sustainable, functioning, self-sustained community that doesn't require too many outside inputs. So that's, to me, what sustainability is for my community that I grew up in, is the black community. So.
And it's amazing. We were talking just a couple of seconds before we came on about the primary and then the secondary. Talk a little bit about that, because I don't think people actually realize that cycle and that those levels?
So these are terms that I've recently been coming up with to kind of convey to people what the philosophy and thinking is behind what I've been doing, what Simple Cycle does. So farmers in any community are primary producers.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people that produce the raw materials, the tomatoes, we're on my plot of land. We're doing flax this year. Flax is for clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
So the primary production, you need the raw materials, and for our community, we go outside of the community to
Mm-hmm.
produce to get these materials, but we need farmers to be able to produce those raw materials. So those are primary first level producers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Secondary producers are people who are able to take those raw materials and turn them into secondary products. Take the tomatoes and turn them into tomato paste, turn the peas into baby food, turn the flax into clothing and bed sheets and linen and these kinds of things. Third level producers are the people who then take those products and are maybe marketing those products. Maybe they have a restaurant where they're using the products, or a store.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, in my way of putting this together, that's how I view my role and then other people's role coming off of being a primary producer, aka a farmer.
And we were talking. I was talking to you about our guest last week, who you actually know,
Yes,
Soraya.
Yes,
Soraya,
yes.
and I think I was calling her the wrong name, but Soraya was talking about aloe vera
Yeah.
for hair care products, and because we're now wearing our hair natural and that particular product. So you said the aloe vera could be like the secondary.
The hair product would be the secondary, and the aloe vera, the farmer's growing that, is the primary.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
There's
amazing.
so many products. Without the primary producers, you can't be a sustainable community. We want to be a sustainable community, and the first level of that is primary production. So, in the example of the aloe vera, yes, hair care is a big thing with black. I mean, as you can see,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I
And to our chagrin, there is yet another beauty supply store in our community, which many feel that we're saturated and oversaturated with them. But at the same time, it would be incredibly more conducive if we were the producers. And somehow we had a relationship with what's being sold in our community at the grassroots level, right?
That's the only way to be sustainable.
Yeah.
That's the only way to be sustainable. To be a sustainable community that's self-sufficient, you have to do that.
Yeah.
What you consume, you must produce, and that creates the cycle.
Wow.
So it's pretty simple.
Wow. And that dovetails actually into what we were talking about and a topic that you wanted to talk about
Yes,
the
sir.
relationship between blacks and the green economy in general.
Yes. So Simple Cycle, I farm, and that's what I've been putting most of my time into now, but I've also installed solar systems around the city, aquaponic systems, different types of composting systems, and there's a lot of technologies that are really coming to the forefront now, and there's a lot of I don't know what you want to call it, liberal green groups that view the black community as a good experimental ground to try out some of these technologies, which is good. We definitely want to have sustainable technology come into the community, but we actually have plenty of people who have the know-how and know this technology ourselves.
That was going to be the thing I was going to ask
Yes,
you.
sir.
Is there an awareness? Is there a knowledge base that we have in our community? Because the aquaponics, that all of these terms I'm hearing more and more. There's a brother, Emmanuel Pratt, that's in the community at Chicago State doing this kind of work. And so you're saying that there's a comfort level that we have with this.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of black people, especially in aquaponics for some reason. I don't know how this has come about. It's one of those mysterious things.
Yeah.
But there is a huge knowledge base of a lot of, in aquaponics, I've noticed there's a lot of black men who are very good at aquaponics. Solar panels, same thing, and solar technology, wind technology, all these technologies, I guess, for me, I just was interested in it. So I just kept tinkering and learning and tinkering and learning.
Sure.
And we have to be able to use that knowledge base we has, but also, what I'm doing now is trying to train others. I train the young people in this technology.
Which is where I was going next.
Yes,
in terms of what's the receptiveness to our young people in terms of, because I remember we did a bus tour, and we do these historically black bus tours, and some folks were introduced to agriculture, and they were like, I just thought farming was tractors.
Yeah.
And so there was no knowledge. So has that been well received?
Yeah, it has. What I've noticed is once the young people get it, once they're able to see the entire process is, we grow stuff, we cook it, we sell it, it makes money. Once they see that, and to be honest with you, our kids are just extremely intelligent. For some reason, this new generation of kids, they're geniuses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you put them in front of some solar panels, so in Hopkins Park, otherwise known as Pembroke, where the black farmers come from, we also have a sustainability and technology grammar school out there, and I've built the system, the aquaponics system there. It's surprising. There's a lot going on.
Oh man, that sounds like a road trip right
yes,
there.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
And
so there's a grammar school on the grounds.
Yes, the Lorenzo Smith Sustainability and Technology School, and I participated a lot with that. There's Black Oaks Center.
I'm familiar with Black Oaks,
and they do a lot of teaching with youth. But there's a lot. We've really built a good knowledge base of skilled technicians in all these categories, and the youth, they're just geniuses. I mean, they really, some of the things that they'll do is stuff that I never even thought of. So we did an energy bike at the school last year for the science fair, and the kids, I'm explaining the concept, and they're one step ahead of me every time. I'm trying to explain this is the battery, and it connects to this, and they're like, so, I mean, to answer your question, they're for some reason, they're very able to take in the knowledge, and I think that's because our community is really going to need it if we're going to have a sustainable future for our community.
Yeah. This is just I am so encouraged about it, and so we will make sure that when those young people, even at the 2nd grade and 8th grade level that I mentioned, that are coming from the grammar school, we've got to really lift them and tell them how important the work that they've done, because I think they're going to be growing, I think he said until the first frost, that they're going to continue, and could they keep continuing to come back? And absolutely, because we want to see that, and we want to nurture that, because whatever, what would you say for a young person would be the pathway from an education standpoint? Is it necessarily college? Is it going to a certification? What do you see that you could advise a young person who had an inkling to go in this direction?
I would say I don't think that college would be bad if you were specific,
and there was an agricultural. Maybe a stronghold at that particular. Okay.
But there's, like I said, we have internships at Black Oaks. I'm putting together more of a training program. Right now I'm trying to train more people that are a little bit older so that they can do more stuff. But I have worked with, like I said, at the school with the youth. I've done some programs on the west side, but it hasn't been a sustained kind of thing. But I would say apprentice with these organizations, go see Professor Pratt and just ask him questions. When you see people that are doing it, just go hang out with them and say, hey, I'm really trying to learn this. And to be honest, YouTube and all these things are a great resource. If you're doing this in tandem, you'll really be able to put something together and connect and work with those people that are elders in the green technology field, and learn on your own. And I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to be able to do stuff in sustainability, because that's the direction that everything is going.
Yes, and it's just amazing to hear you say flax.
Yes, sir.
As a raw material that I didn't know came from the ground. In its, I guess, most raw form.
Yes.
And that it's converted. That's amazing. And as much apparel money that we
well, this is one of the things that I really, so this year it's not a lot. It was so right now. So there's a little quick history.
Okay.
In colonial America, most households. I mean, this is not. I'm not sure. I haven't done the research into African Americans, but for most of colonial America, people who would classify themselves as European Americans, every household had a plot of flax. So they would make their own clothes for their house, for their household, for people in the household. So to find the correct version of flax seeds, because people are familiar with flax seeds, you might eat them. So we have some that we're growing also for just flax seeds for eating, but to find those seeds was kind of difficult. So this year I have a plot that I have out, so we're growing those, and it's doing really well, so that we can multiply the seeds that we can have for next year. But this is one of those examples of primary production, producing the flax, then processing the flax, then those technical skills, which we didn't really get a chance to get into.
Sure.
Technical skills of how to work with fabric, how to use a loom, how to put these things together. Those, God willing, are hopefully God willing that there can be another component of people that are either learning how to do that or know how to do that can process the flax, and that is how you sustain an industry. So I'm just doing a little bit now, but
that's groundbreaking, man. That's groundbreaking. In the few minutes that we have left, because I could park right there and stay there, because I have more than a passing interest in clothing and how they were manufactured. I'm a vintage shopper, and I
do a lot of thrifting myself.
Yeah, I'm a thrifter, man. Oh man, we gonna have to hang out. There's no question about that. I see my producer back there just crying because she knows.
You find good stuff from the thrift store.
The best stuff, stuff, right? And the quality behind it is what I think. We have an opportunity to recreate a new kind of vintage in the 21st century, man, and that's really cool. So what would someone that comes to the farmer's market on Saturday at 8 o'clock on 95th and Normal at Trinity, what would they find if they came up to your booth?
Oh, well, in previous years, I did focus a lot more on the fresh produce, which I will have a lot of green tomatoes, a lot of fresh peppers. Later on in the season, I'll have some more watermelons and cantaloupes and onions and that kind of thing. But in-house, I grow the fresh produce and then I process it. So I have zucchini relish, radish relish. I'm focusing a lot on the relishes now. I'm going to have ketchup. I have honey. I have ginger juice that is really good.
Park right there, the ginger juice. And on Saturday, make sure I got I got that.
Yes,
because I got the bottom of the barrel last week, and
that's the strong ginger.
And that's the strongest part, though. I mean it, and I mean I just love it. How does that? In the last minute or so that we have left, how do you make that? What is that?
Well, so Simple Cycle, like I said, manages and markets for a lot of the older farmers. So the original creator of the ginger juice that has become so famous is Omar Kimura. So I've partnered with him to manage his operations pretty much. So the recipe is kind of a secret.
And I love my brother Omar, and obviously we can't do no trade secrets because we'd be in trouble. So if come to the market. Yeah, do you want to say something real quick?
I have plenty. I will have some fresh produce, but yes, come get some relish. We have samples. We're going to start doing vegetable chips, okra chips, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
so,
man.
So come see us.
Yeah, please come see us. Thank you so much, Donnie. We got to have you back because as usual, we only just scratch the surface. But Saturday morning, 95th and Normal, Trinity's Farmers Market. By any means necessary, I'm Melvin Thompson of the Endeleo Institute. We look to see you on Saturday morning, and join us next week for another riveting show with another special guest. We thank you so much and have a great, great evening.